Welcome to While We Were Distracted, the podcast where we explore topics that often get overshadowed in the rush of daily life.
Ever get the feeling that the U.S. government is just this massive thing? Hard to really grasp. Like,
Hmm.
how many people actually work for the government? And how is it all organized anyway?
It's a question a lot of people have.
Yeah, well, today we're going to do a deep dive into that very question, how big is the U.S. government?
It's a fascinating thing to look into. We've got research from universities, official government data, and even some stuff from Wikipedia to sort of piece it all together.
Really get a sense of the scale of it all, huh?
Exactly.
So we're talking branches, departments, agencies, the whole shebang.
It's a lot.
It is. But, okay, let's start with the basics, something we all learned back in school.
The three branches.
The three branches of government, right?
Yeah.
Executive, legislative, and judicial.
The foundation of the whole system.
And just to refresh everyone's memory.
Well, the executive branch is led by the president, and they enforce the laws. The legislative branch, which is Congress, makes the laws. And the judicial branch, with the Supreme Court at the top, interprets those laws.
A lot of checks and balances in there, right?
Exactly. Checks and balances to make sure no single branch gets too much power.
Can you imagine what it would be like if one branch just had all the power?
Oh, it would be chaos.
Total chaos, like a toddler in a candy store.
The perfect analogy.
But, okay, let's zoom in on the executive branch for a sec.
Yep.
This is where we really start to see the size and scope of the government, right?
Absolutely.
So get this, there are 15 executive departments. Each one's headed by a secretary who reports to the president.
It's a big team.
Huge.
Well,
Like the biggest board meeting ever.
that's one way to put it.
And each department is responsible for a whole bunch of different things.
A wide array of functions, definitely.
Like take the Department of Defense, for example. They have over 3 million employees.
It's more than some countries' populations, actually.
3 million, it's mind-boggling. But I guess it makes sense when you consider they're responsible for the military, national security, all of that.
It's a huge responsibility.
Absolutely. Then there's the Department of Health and Human Services. Their budget is something like $1.7 trillion.
1.772 trillion, to be exact.
Wow. And they handle everything from disease control to Medicare and Medicaid.
They touch the lives of almost every American in one way or another.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
It is.
And speaking of a lot of people, what about the Department of Veterans Affairs?
They have over 235,000 employees.
And they make sure our veterans get access to all sorts of benefits and services. Healthcare, education, job
A
training.
huge range of support.
It's crucial work honoring those who served our country.
Absolutely.
It's incredible, right? How these departments affect so many parts of our lives. But we can't forget about those agencies that aren't part of a specific department, but still play a huge role.
You mean like NASA, the CIA, the EPA?
Exactly. They all have a big impact on our lives, too.
They operate a bit more independently, but they still answer to the president.
So kind of like specialized task forces tackling specific issues.
That's a good way to think of it.
It's like their household names.
Yeah.
Everyone knows NASA. Their mission to explore space? Can you imagine working there?
What a cool job that would be.
I know, right? Pushing the boundaries of human knowledge, venturing into the unknown.
Each agency has its own unique history and culture, too. Like the CIA, for instance.
The CIA, so much mystery surrounding that one.
Well, they started out mainly focused on Cold War intelligence gathering. But today, it's a whole different world. Global threats like terrorism, cyber warfare,
They've had to adapt to a changing world.
constantly evolving, that's for sure.
So, okay, 15 departments, a whole bunch of independent agencies.
Yeah.
Is that everything?
Well, the thing about the government is it's not static.
It changes.
It has to. It adapts to the needs of the nation, which are always changing. So over time, departments have merged, been dissolved, even new ones have been created.
Like a living, breathing organism, always evolving.
That's a great way to put it.
Like after World War II, they combined the War and Navy departments into the Department of Defense.
Right. To streamline things and prepare for modern warfare.
Makes you wonder what changes might be coming down the line, doesn't it?
It does. We face new frontiers now, like artificial intelligence, climate change. Who knows what new departments or agencies we might need in the future?
Fascinating to think about. But for now, I'm really interested in hearing more about these independent agencies, like NASA and the CIA, especially the CIA.
Well, let's start with NASA. Did you know that the famous blue marble photo, the first full-view image of Earth from space, was taken way back in 1972 by the Apollo 17 crew?
No way. I always thought it was more recent.
It's amazing, right? That one photo had such a huge impact.
Sparked a global environmental movement, really highlighted how fragile our planet is.
Exactly. A reminder of how connected we all are and the need to protect our shared home.
Talk about an impactful photo. But okay, what about the CIA? What's something surprising about them?
Well, a lot of people are surprised to learn that the CIA wasn't always focused on the global stage. During the Cold War, their main mission was gathering intelligence on the Soviet Union.
So they were all about Cold War spies back then.
Pretty much. But today, it's much broader: international terrorism, cyber attacks, all sorts of threats.
From Cold War spies to modern-day cyber defenders? Wow. I'm starting to feel like I need a secret decoder ring to keep up with all this.
No need for that. What's important is understanding how vast the government's work is and how it affects us every day.
It's true. We've only just scratched the surface, and I'm already amazed. The U.S. government is anything but small.
Mm.
I can't wait to dig deeper into these agencies and their work.
Me too. And in the next part, we'll do just that. We'll explore the roles and responsibilities of some of these key players. Get ready for more surprises.
I'm ready.
All right, ready to dive deeper into these agencies?
Let's do it. We were just talking about the CIA. What else can you tell me about the kind of work they do?
Well, one thing that surprises people is just how much they do. It's not just spies and secret missions like you see in the movies.
Right.
The CIA also does a ton of research and analysis looking at global trends.
Like what kind of trends?
Oh, everything: political trends, economic trends, you name it.
So they're trying to make sense of what's happening in the world.
Exactly. They put together these reports to help policymakers understand the risks and opportunities out there.
Like connecting the dots, seeing the bigger picture, anticipating what might happen next.
That's a good way to put it. They help the government understand what's going on globally and prepare for whatever challenges might be coming.
Makes sense. Okay, let's switch gears to NASA for a minute. I'm curious about their impact beyond just space exploration.
NASA. Everyone loves NASA.
Who doesn't love space?
Well, besides those amazing images from space and, trying to understand the universe, NASA also plays a big role in developing new technologies.
Really? So it's not just about rockets and telescopes?
Nope. Their research benefits us here on Earth, too.
Like how?
Well, for example, their research on lightweight materials has led to big advancements in aircraft design. Planes are more fuel efficient now because of it.
Wow, so the technology that helps us fly across the country might have come from NASA trying to get to space.
It's true, and that's just one example. There are so many others.
What else?
Well, they've done a lot of research on solar energy. That's helped develop more efficient solar panels, so we rely less on fossil fuels.
So they're not just looking up at the stars, they're helping us solve problems here on Earth too.
Absolutely. It's amazing how it all connects, isn't it?
It really is. It seems like every agency has this ripple effect, impacting our lives in ways we don't even realize. Okay, what other agencies should we talk about? There are so many.
How about the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA? They have the tough job of safeguarding our environment.
I know, the EPA is always in the news, especially with climate change and all the concerns about pollution.
It's a big responsibility. They
Uh-huh.
set standards for air and water quality, regulate hazardous waste disposal, enforce environmental laws.
Trying to protect human health and the environment at the same time.
It's a balancing act for sure.
A tough job,
Yeah.
but super important, to
Yeah.
make sure we have a healthy planet for future generations.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, so we've got NASA, the CIA, the EPA, all these agencies doing really important work on a global scale. What else is there?
One that often gets overlooked but affects our lives every day is the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC.
The FCC. I know they regulate stuff like radio and television. But how much of an impact can they really have? It doesn't seem as, grand as space exploration or national security.
Oh, their reach is bigger than you might think. The FCC also regulates internet service providers. They make sure there's fair competition and that people have access to broadband.
Wait, so they have a say in how fast my internet is.
They do.
That's actually pretty important these days. Everything's online.
Exactly. And as more and more of our lives move online, the FCC's role becomes even more crucial. They're shaping the future of how we communicate and connect with each other.
Wow, I never thought about it that way. It's incredible how these agencies working behind the scenes have such a big impact on our daily lives. We just take so much for granted.
It's true. It shows how connected everything is and how the government is involved in so many different parts of our lives, from the air we breathe to the information we get online.
Okay, so we've talked about a few of these key agencies, but I'm still wondering, how did we get here? Why are there so many departments and agencies to begin with? It seems like a lot to manage.
Well, as the U.S. has grown and changed over time, the role of the federal government has grown too. New challenges pop up, and they need solutions. And a lot of times, that means creating a new agency to focus on that specific challenge.
So it's like building a house. As your family gets bigger, you need more rooms, more space. You add on to make sure everyone and everything has a place.
Exactly. And just like you wouldn't expect one room in your house to do everything, you wouldn't expect one government agency to handle everything either. It's all about specialization, making things more efficient. You need the right tools for the job.
That makes sense. But has there ever been a time when it felt like the government was too big? Like maybe we needed to, I don't know, downsize a bit?
Oh, definitely. There have been times in American history when the idea of smaller government was really popular. People worried about the government having too much power or not being efficient enough. It's a debate that comes up a lot in politics.
I can see that. With so many agencies and departments, it's easy to imagine things getting bogged down with bureaucracy.
It's a valid concern. It's important to keep having these discussions about how big the government should be and what it should be doing. It's about finding that balance where the government can do what it needs to do for the people without becoming too big or intrusive.
A balance between efficiency and effectiveness, making sure the government can respond to people's needs without getting lost in its own complexity.
That's it. It's an ongoing process, and the way the U.S. government is structured is a reflection of that. What works today might not work tomorrow. New challenges come up, priorities change. It's always evolving.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to how complex the U.S. government is. I had no idea how many moving parts there were. I feel like I have a much better understanding of how it all works, or at least tries to.
Me too. And we've really only scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore, so much to learn.
I know. But for now, I think it's time to shift gears and talk about those other two branches of government, the legislative and the judicial.
Sounds good. Let's head to the halls of Congress and the chambers of the Supreme Court. There's a lot to uncover there.
So we spent quite a bit of time on this executive branch.
With its 15 departments and all those agencies and millions of people working there, yeah, it's definitely the most visible part of the government.
It's the one we hear about the most, that's for sure.
For sure.
But we can't forget about the other two branches of government.
The legislative and judicial,
I'd even there do.
they're like the essential supporting actors, making sure the whole system works the way it's supposed to.
Behind the scenes, but so important.
Exactly.
So the legislative branch, which is Congress, that's where laws are made, right?
That's right. Laws of the land are crafted right there in Congress.
And it's divided into two chambers, the House and the Senate,
It's a bicameral system, yep.
bicameral.
2 chambers.
Right, and I remember learning about this way back when, but the House is based on population, right?
Yeah.
So bigger states have more representatives.
More voices, more representation.
And the Senate has 2 senators from each state.
Every state gets 2, no matter how big or small.
It's all about balance, isn't it?
Balance is the key.
Balancing the interests of the people with the interests of the states.
Finding that sweet spot.
Yeah, it's a delicate dance.
It is, but through all the debating and compromising and negotiating, that's how Congress makes the laws that we all live by.
And speaking of debating, I hear things can get pretty intense in Congress.
Let's just say that passionate disagreements, they're all part of the process.
Part of fun.
That's one way to put it.
But ultimately, they're trying to find solutions that work for everyone, right?
That's the goal, to pass laws that are in the best interest of the whole country.
That's democracy in action.
A whole bunch of different voices and viewpoints coming together, trying to figure things out.
It's messy, but it's beautiful.
It is.
And then once Congress passes a law, it's up to the judicial branch to make sure it's applied fairly and that it follows the Constitution.
That's where the courts step in.
Right, the judges and the courts.
With the Supreme Court at the top,
The big kahuna.
the highest court in the land.
They have the final say on matters of federal law, and their decisions have huge consequences.
Huge ripple effects across society.
Think about some of those landmark cases, like Brown v. Board of Education
The segregation of schools,
or Roe v. Wade.
legalizing abortion.
Those decisions changed everything.
They really did reshape the legal and social landscape of the country.
It's mind-blowing to think that 9 justices have that much power.
It highlights how important it is to have an independent judiciary.
Judges who aren't influenced by politics, who can just uphold the law.
Exactly, without fear or favor.
It's amazing when you think about it, the scale of the U.S. government.
We've got the executive branch, the legislative, the judicial.
Each one with its own complex structure, thousands of employees, all working together somehow.
It's a real testament to the American experiment, trying to govern a country this big and this diverse.
It's not perfect, but it's ours.
It's a remarkable system,
It really is.
and it's important that we understand how it works.
Engage in the process, hold our elected officials accountable.
That's what makes it all work.
Well, this deep dive has certainly given me a whole new perspective on the government.
Me too. It's fascinating stuff.
I feel like I've learned so much.
There's always more to learn, always more to explore.
That's for sure. But for now, we're going to wrap things up.
Time to say goodbye.
But before we do, we want to hear from you.
What surprised you the most about this deep dive into the U.S. government? Which branch or agency piqued your interest?
Let us know. Your questions might just inspire our next deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious.
And thanks for listening.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for the next episode on While We Were Distracted.